I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will move into our consensus agenda.
Okay, I move that we approve vouchers. The accounts payable vouchers were $520,668.82. Two payrolls for $476,422.62. We have some voids, etc. Makes a grand total of $993,011.44 for our expenditures for the month. Along with that, I move that we approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Any patrons? There are no patrons present that have questions. So we will move on to Mrs. Arvison, who will give us the diploma comparison.
Hi, everyone. I apologize for my appearance. I'm in the middle of basketball practice right now. So I am going to talk to you a little bit about the new Indiana diploma with a forewarning that the state has not finalized all the details for the diploma that goes into effect next year. So at any given time, we may have to pivot some things, but I feel pretty confident about the plan that we have. So the first sheet in your packet is comparing the current diploma with the future one, which the future one begins next year for the class of 2029. And that just kind of goes through some of the major subject areas and the different amount of credits per subject area compared to now versus the future. There are going to be 3 different diplomas with the new Indiana diploma, and I'll go over that on the next sheet. But this is something that you guys can look at in more detail later. This is something that we gave to all our parents this year at freshman orientation. So the second page is more so the Triton Indiana diploma, is what we like to call it. There are 3 different types of diplomas. There's just the Indiana diploma, the Indiana with Honors Seal diploma, and the Indiana with Honors Plus Seal. And they're in 3 different areas. You can see enrollment, employment, and enlistment. So the way it breaks down is there's the base diploma. So you could think of that as more of like our current, it's probably a mix of the general studies and the Core 40 diploma. And then the Honor Seal is more of like our honors path right now, currently. And then they've added that Honors Plus Seal, which is very, very rigorous. If you take a look at some of those qualifications for that diploma, there's a lot that goes into that. So one of the important things to tell you is that while the base diploma is all that the state is saying you have to have, as a school corporation, we are saying we want you to graduate with a seal. We realize at times we may have to pivot from that, and it's a need-by-need basis depending on the kid. The one really nice thing about the new diploma is that it's geared to fit students better and what they want to do in the future, to where before everyone had to take a certain set of classes. Now, when I say that, you'll probably look at the new diploma and you'll see that it says you don't have to take chemistry or you don't have to take some of these classes. We still believe in a lot of that, and we're not going to change a lot of what we do. We think English 9, 10, 11, 12 are all very important. So while the new diploma says they just need English credits, maybe not necessarily English 9, 10, or 11, or 12, we want that to happen for our students. So we are not going to change a lot of what we require our students to take. We believe in what we offer right now. But what we are going to do is really try to set them up for that junior and senior year to really hit those personalized elective credits, to really start getting them to think about their future, maybe trying new things. If they figure out what they don't want to do, that's just as important as figuring out what they might like to do. So really their junior and senior year, we're really working on those seals with them, getting them out into the businesses, into the CTE programs, into those dual credit classes, and just providing them a good setup for whatever future they might want. While the seals say enrollment, employment, and enlistment, just because you get an employment seal does not mean you can't go to college. So that's very important to know. That enrollment seal is geared towards sometimes your bigger schools like Purdue that have more of the rigorous requirements, where the employment can get you into some of the smaller schools in Indiana. If a student wants to graduate early, so this has been a hot topic lately that we've been having here at Triton, I know other schools too, the state has actually made it a requirement that they have to get a seal in order to graduate early. So we are hoping that that helps us a little bit with that cause. Do you guys have any questions so far about just the base diploma and the seals? Yes.
Sometime before the end of that sophomore year, is there any kind of a career assessment tool that the students take to help them guide them on what they could be good at?
Yeah, so they will be in a prep for college class, and they do career assessments in that class, but they also sit down with Mrs. Faulkner and I, and part of their Scholar Track online, they'll do a career assessment with us as well. The other things that we do is we take them to different programs, so they'll go see all the CTE programs, learn about different careers. We've been trying to do more days of getting them out and shadowing. The cool thing about the new diploma is that those can count as those work-based learning hours for them. So it'd be really awesome if a student could graduate with that enrollment seal and that employment seal. So you could still graduate with multiple seals. Let's see, on the next page. So we made this for all of our parents. It says, what does a Triton grad look like? This breaks everything down by subject, and it kind of tells our reasoning and our why for what we're doing, why we are still going to require you to take chemistry, why we believe in math courses and science, and social studies is really still a thing, all of those things. So we break it down, we give our expectations in this packet here. And we just go through every different subject area, and we go through the personalized electives still. We think it's really important for the kids to get out. I think if you talk to any of the kids that have had experiences where they've left for half a day to go to a CTE program or even go to an internship, they've had experiences that have not only helped them, but maybe helped them in their education, but also life, learning how to deal with things, all those types of things. Yes.
And I'm just looking here at like the enrollment honor seal.
Yes.
So it says 8 math credits. Our base is 7, so you got to get 1 additional math credit, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay. So that's 6 science credits. You only have to take biology 1, right?
Yes.
And 2 additional science credits, so you would have to take a little bit more science.
Right.
Okay. All right, that helps me.
Don't ask me a question I don't know yet, okay? I will say the one thing about this diploma, especially for our kids, that scares me a little bit. It's going to be a big task on our shoulders as counselors, is to really start getting into their minds earlier about what they want to do. This diploma is much more difficult to pivot. Junior year, they decide they want to go to a big university, we're scrambling. It's going to be very difficult. So that's going to be something that we really have to work harder at. I think we do a really good job now, but this diploma is going to make it even more difficult for us. The other thing is tracking stuff for these students. So if you take a look at that employment seal, especially the Honors Plus seal, that's 650 hours of work-based learning. You will have to start tracking that from freshman year on. So we have been partnering with other schools, brainstorming, and we have also been partnering with Harmony and attending a bunch of webinars on how we can track that in the system that is easy and efficient for all of us and also accessible to the students, because I do think that they have to have some autonomy in making sure that they put those hours in there as well. The other thing that I will say is we have been meeting with school counselors from all over Marshall County, Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Bremen, LaVille, and we really want to stand as a united front, because with this diploma, it could be very easy for someone to say, no chemistry. No, you don't need to take English 10 or 11 or 12. Let's just take a theater class or, something like that. And while those are great and those have their place, we need to all stand united so that kids aren't swapping every other year, trying to play the system. So we have been having those meetings with the other schools as well. And luckily, we have all really agreed that we all believe in what we're doing now and just molding it to fit this new diploma.
So what's the concern with that? Just like the transfers and stuff like that?
Yeah, if you keep going back and forth and then we get a kid senior year who hasn't taken English 10, 11.
Create gaps in education.
Yeah.
The other piece of this, correct me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Arvison, is the no more than 3 unexcused absences is a huge
Yeah, so let me hit on that
piece.
really quick. So
Chronic absenteeism and all of that, so.
if you look at the seals, for especially under the employment seal, I will not be surprised though, it's under employment and enlistment right now, but I will not be surprised if that comes under enrollment. We know attendance is important, we know things come up, that's life. But right now, currently, the state says that no student may have more than 3 unexcused absences a school year to earn that diploma seal. And while it sounds like that might be easy, that is not easy for all students. So it is something that Mr. Yarbrough is tasked at handling next year.
And that is for all 4 years, right? So can't have more than 3 each of the 4 years. But you'll also see, if you looked closely at the update to the handbook, that is also in the handbook to align with the new expectations as well, just so there's not the caveats to, well, that's not what the handbook says. So that is to align with the graduation pathways, or the seals.
I was
Yes.
fortunate enough to study the handbook last week before the approval here tonight.
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying, if you have a kid get suspended for a week, those are unexcused absences according to the handbook. That messes up their whole year, right?
Yeah,
I'm just,
you are correct.
I just was, okay.
So what does a student like that do then?
So,
Yeah, they would end up going back to a base diploma unless, I will tell you this, there are no definitive answers for how we're going to handle the attendance piece yet, because we are still waiting on some information to come from the state, such as what is an unexcused absence. We really haven't gotten that definition from them yet. So when we do get that, we'll be able to take a deeper look at what we're currently doing. And I also think it will be important for us to talk to some of the other schools too, because we don't want to really harm kids and take something away from them, and then they'll never want to work for a seal their sophomore, junior, senior year.
So the state is reacting to poor attendance as they should, right? When I say as they should, I don't know if the reaction is as it should be. But in the end, we all know what those soft skills are, and showing up to work is one of those things. We also realize that they are putting a lot of time and effort into this chronic absenteeism and habitual truant and the definitions that those are, with very little answer to what those look like. So our stance is we want kids at school. That's the way they're gonna learn. We want kids to create really good habits. We want them to be at school. But in the end, there also has to be, to your point, Wes, to say, so a kid, their brain isn't nearly developed in freshman year, what does that look like for them for the remainder of 4 years because of a suspension or expulsion or something of that nature? So those are the things, that's the ready, fire, aim piece of the state of like, this sounds good, let's go. But not really thinking about what that looks like practically in a high school setting for a kid, and thinking about some of the things they did as freshmen and that they're not fully developed. So we do hope that there's a little bit of common sense that steps in. We say 2029, and that seems like a long ways away, and there will be things that change. Just like pathways, right? Like we felt like we were getting pretty good at those, felt pretty confident, comfortable, and somebody else had a really good idea, according to them. So, but.
So the base diploma doesn't have an unexcused absence
No,
requirement?
it does not. To get the base diploma, you have to still hit the pathways. So the base diploma still has the pathways.
So Sarah, I see here under the honor seal that you have to score a certain thing on the SAT or ACT. Is the SAT now the graduation exam that we're gonna get graded on and get our school grade on? How many people pass that?
I
And
will tell you it's on the dashboard. So there's a GPS dashboard for our school where they track and monitor things. It has not been confirmed or denied with this new diploma, but I would not be surprised.
But there's
well,
not-
they're coming back with school grades, so
They're coming back with it. And for that SAT, it's either one of the following. So you either can earn the dual credits or you get the.
oh, so it's not both,
It's
right?
not both. Yeah, a lot of those where it's bold, it's complete one of the following, which is
Okay.
nice. So you have some options of what you might be better at or what might be best for you to complete that.
So you
seal.
can still go to honors enrollment seal
Yeah,
if you, let's say you do the complete at least, but you don't, your SAT score is not 1250.
correct.
Okay, so it's not all, it's
Yep,
pick one of the bold.
yes.
And that's kind of what they've taken from the pathways. I mean, the happy medium, not and/or.
I will tell you that the further you deep dive into this diploma, the more confusing it gets. And trying to explain it to incoming freshman parents is even more terrifying. So I would slowly go through it and take a look at it, but just knowing that we as a school corporation do not plan to change a lot of what we do. If anything, I think it's just going to push us to get to know our kids sooner and faster and give them more opportunities to get out there and see things sooner. Any other questions?
And this really hasn't changed since the February presentation, correct?
Not
looks-
yet,
it
yeah.
looks the same.
It's the exact same, yeah.
It looks the same, but my wife will go through with a fine tooth comb and make sure it's exactly
You
the
will,
same.
it's the exact same
So I will
printout.
tell her to save her time, thank you.
Yeah.
You think that'll help?
One thing, I guess, to wrap that up and allow you to get back to practice, our counselors do a phenomenal job, and they're all
Amen.
over it. Even I was at the CTE meeting today, a couple things were brought up and just conversations that Aaron Esper was having with our counselors and just raved about the fact is that they are on top of things and they are asking the right questions and making sure our kiddos get what they need. So our schedules, I know at one time, a few years back, we were talking about when the schedules are coming out, and a lot of those things have been corrected under you and Ashley's leadership, and I just want to thank you. So,
Thanks for your support and trust.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
any other questions before it's back to practice?
Yeah.
All right, we will move on to personnel.
All right, I'd like to recommend, I'm going to go ahead and put first two together here. The resignation, you've seen these in your packets, and the reasons for these resignations, but we do want to thank Carrie Kennedy and Glenda Gard for their years of service at Triton School Corporation. But I'd recommend the approval of the resignation of Carrie Kennedy and Glenda Gard as presented.
Move we approve these resignations.
Second.
It's been moved by Ken, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
I'd like to recommend the approval of Emily McQuaid. She'll be moving from 3rd grade to 4th grade, trying to find a little bit of stability here as a larger class moves through the elementary school, so she's not bobbing back and forth. So I'd like to recommend that move to 4th grade.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Wes. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
I'd like to recommend the approval of the maternity leave for Janelle Neidig. As she wrote in the board packet, you'll see that Kay Church has been on site a couple days already to kind of job shadow her, and will be filling in for her maternity leave at the high school.
I move we approve that leave.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
And last but not least, in personnel, I'd like to recommend the approval of the appointment of Jordan Fuller to the Bourbon Library Board.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Steve. Any discussion?
Is he our current member?
It's a reappointment.
He is a reappointment?
Yep.
Okay.
All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. On to other business.
All right, I'd like to recommend the approval of the reading adoption. Thank you, Ken, for being part of that process. I don't know if you have anything you want to share on that. We have talked about the last couple months of just the deliberation that took place. But Melissa did write up a very nice excerpt of kind of the process that was used and/or the plan moving forward. Specifically, to note that K through 4 will extend our current adoption a year as they start to build their curriculum and just take the time to create that. For implementation, grades 5 through 12 will implement the Smeckens playbook next year. And we actually have a training for staff tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. That will be taking place in this room to begin to just understand that fully. So I recommend the approval of that textbook
I move
adoption.
we approve the textbook, the reading textbook.
Second?
It's been moved by Ken, seconded by Wes. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
In your packet, you saw the contract for the Northern Indiana Education Service Center Shared Dietitian Consortium Service Contract for Kaylin McKillop. She has been our dietitian for quite some time now. She does an awesome job working with Margot and our ladies in the cafeteria, so I recommend that approval.
I move we approve that contract.
Second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
Also in your packets, you would see the, I guess I recommend the approval of the junior senior high school student handbook in there. You can see the copy that is corrected and or the clean copy of that. Some of the things drawing attention to is the added transfer rules, chronic absenteeism, clarification on bowling. Sorry, I was looking at the athletic handbook. Clarification as it relates to some of the policies already. Bowling, early graduation, tech, no longer is that a new thing, but phones not being allowed in classrooms is in there. Dress code updates, how teachers will be dealing with late work, and then of course the class of 2029 as mentioned in the graduation requirements, that 3 unexcused absences is in that handbook.
I move we approve the handbook as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
And last but not least, I recommend the approval of the athletic handbook. I apologize, that is where the added transfer rules are in. There was very little change to that handbook other than obviously the updated legislation.
Move we approve the athletic handbook, if I'm allowed to. Or make that motion, since I was on the.
I think it's quite a, I'll second it.
Representative.
It's
I
been-
second it.
It's
I heard it from Kevin
Oh,
first.
okay.
It's
I
been
didn't hear
moved
you.
by Wes, seconded by Kevin. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Superintendent report.
All right, talking about continuous improvement on Wednesday night, so this is kind of a reminder to our board. You're obviously welcome to attend the scholarship banquet. That will be taking place in the TAC at 6 p.m. on Wednesday evening. We'll have the opportunity to recognize 27 students with well over $100,000 in scholarships to be given out that evening. So just another monumental year when it comes to scholarships. This does not include the Lilly Scholarship, which was earned obviously by Travis, as we announced last month, which pays for full in-state tuition of the recipient. The Triton Student Life Foundation has graciously covered the cost of the evening as they continue to do their best to provide opportunity for continuous improvement and improving the lives and the student life of Triton students and staff. So Wednesday night will be a fun night to give out a lot of money to students as they head on to higher education. Shared leadership, as we begin to wrap up this school year and begin to plan for the next, it's important to know that it takes all of us to help make each year successful. Some of the items we're working on for this year in preparation for the annual scholarship banquet, as I just mentioned. This past week, the seniors did their senior walk. Current events include senior night for baseball, which took place tonight. Fifth graders are enjoying, as we speak, Camp Amigo, probably getting ready for a little popcorn holler, which is always a blast. So they actually got to attend Camp Amigo this year, first time since the pandemic, which was awesome. And also elementary teacher interviews, I believe, are taking place as we speak. While future events include Trojan Wars Elementary Field Day. On Friday, we're going to have a corporation breakfast, just due to the fact that where the end of the year falls. Most teachers are probably not going to come back the day after Labor Day for a lunch, so we will honor our retirees. Graduation reminder, June 1st at 2 p.m., and then the annual board retreat is set in stone now, and that's going to be June 25th. So that is a Wednesday, which I believe I've communicated that. Social responsibility, the Bourbon Town Council, Street Department, and Triton School Corporation continue to work together to put a sidewalk in from Main Street to Triton Drive down Schaefer Road. The paperwork continues to be completed. However, I was told last week that the NDOT project may be delayed, possibly until 2027. It's still ongoing. We're giving the information that we need to them to keep that on task, but that may have been delayed. But I do want to thank Roger Terry. He's been staying on top of that and making sure that those steps are being followed. iLearn data, when it comes to accountability, iLearn data is beginning to trickle in. High read scores are embargoed, so we can't make any specific announcements, but students who need to retake iRead will be doing so actually tomorrow. They will actually have another opportunity to do that at the end of summer school as well. So far, there's definitely some pockets of data that looks really, really good. That has yet to all come to us yet. High expectations. I want to thank Megan Atkinson, Candace Haynes, the cast and crew of the Performing Arts Department for putting together an impressive performance of the Addams Family this past weekend. If you didn't get the opportunity to see that, it was phenomenal. Friday night's performance had tremendous attendance, and the audience was thrilled with the quality of performance they got to see. Many compliments have been received for the students' acting, the quality of stage setup, the sound, lighting, which obviously this board put a lot of money, time, and effort into through our bond issues. And they said the casting was great. I want to thank everyone it takes to be a part of that production, whether you're on the stage or behind the scenes. Excellent work. Alignment, Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll host the Smeckens. I already talked about that, but just it's going to be very, very important. And this is going to be, Melissa's going to be tasked with this incredible responsibility of just making sure as our teachers create content for the new reading adoption that we just stay aligned with that kindergarten through 12th grade. So that's going to be a huge task as we move forward. And I hope that it will reap the rewards and the benefits of a quality program. Last but not least, evidence-based decision-making. We are in the process right now of hiring a principal for Triton Elementary School after the retirement of Mrs. Cook. Nearly 20 candidates have applied. Next step of the first round of interview questions and activities in order to be considered for the second round of formal interviews in front of a teacher and admin committee, which will be taking place the week of May 19th. We will seek to fill the vacancy with a recommendation the week of May 19th, providing everything stays on schedule. The official recommendation will be made at the June 9th Board of Trustees meeting. We also are currently looking for a high school math teacher, and we'll be posting an elementary administrative assistant position this week for the vacancy where Josh was there. So that's all I have. I'd be more than happy to answer any other questions that are outside of that report.
Thank you. Patrons comments, seeing no one present, we will move on to building reports. Mr. Yarborough, are you doing the high school?
I am.
Cool.
The conference held their annual math competition on Wednesday, April 23rd. Triton took second place overall and had multiple top 10 placers. That was a great showing, and I think it really speaks to the quality of education we're providing in math. On Thursday, April 24th, Caden Large was recognized as one of 40 Indiana Academic All-State Stars. Ms. Orlowski was recognized as his most influential teacher. On April 29th, Riley Beamish, Sierra Hawley, and Owen Weymouth participated in the graduation ceremony for this year's Leadership Marshall County Emerge program. On Friday, May 2nd, math and English teachers met with Mrs. LaSure to review data, discuss curriculum, and plan for the new school year. After our senior walk on May 9th, the seniors had their annual picture taken down there at the Bourbon Town Park. We have our senior cookout on Thursday, May 15th. That will happen during the Trojan Wars. Our junior high incentive trip is Friday, May 16th. We are going to Warsaw, and we are going to go bowling with about 75 7th and 8th graders. So to make that trip, they had to meet an academic criteria. So, high grades, no failing classes, minimal behavior issues, no in-school detention or out-of-school suspension, and they had to have good attendance. So it was great to see 75 kids in those grades qualify for that. We have our junior high awards on Thursday, May 22nd at 9:45 in the morning. We have exams on Thursday and Friday, May 22nd and May 23rd. Graduation practice is Friday, May 30th at 10 a.m. And as Mr. Riffle mentioned, Sunday, June 1st is graduation at 2 p.m.
All right, I am filling in for Mrs. Cook tonight. We wanted to say thanks to Officer Watkins and Officer Amsden for their efforts in bringing us DARE education this year, and for the Bourbon Police Department in sponsoring our 5th graders. Isla Chapman was our overall essay winner, and they will be attending a South Bend Cubs game the last week of May. As Mr. Riffle mentioned, our 5th graders are up at Camp Amigo, and I will tell you there was a lot of excitement this morning as they took off. So excited to hear stories there. Yes. Teacher observations are completed and final ratings are being compiled. We'll have our summative conferences next Monday and Tuesday. End-of-year data, teachers have been completing those assessments such as DIBELS, we have IXL, and we have TRC. All that data is in, and we'll meet this Wednesday and Thursday. And then the iRead 3 Opportunity 2 is underway, so they started it today. They'll finish it tomorrow, and we should have results by Wednesday for those students. So we're anxious to get those results back for sure. Summer school plans are underway for students in pre-K through grade 3. And high ability identification was finished for this year, and we actually got to add several new students to that roster, which is exciting to see. And the parents are being given the opportunity to express concerns about next year's class placement, and we are working on placing those high ability students and then students with IEPs before we add in that teacher input as well, just to make sure we can meet each of those needs. And then we have a lot. May is packed with a lot. We've got a kindergarten music program. Kindergarten's also going to the Potawatomi Zoo. We have push carts coming up this Friday. Grade 4 is going to the East Lake Skate. And then grade 1's going to the zoo. We have a high ability pull-out program at the high school, which I believe Matt Arvison and Zach Schaefer are helping. I think the kids get to fly drones in the gym, so they're pretty excited about that. We have preschool graduation coming up and sixth grade recognition. And then, of course, we have our all school field day as well. So lots going on.
When is sixth grade recognition?
That is May 21st.
And what time? Do you know?
8:20.
8:30 a.m.
It's in the morning. All right, if there's no other business, we will move to adjourn at 7:33.
Where did I miss the